In the previous chapter, we saw Joan confidently step into battle against the entire Universal Righteous Sect, mocking their reserved tactics. In response, Zhao Deju and his team unleashed their powerful soul chain array, trapping Joan in an impenetrable barrier. The stage was set for an intense showdown, with all eyes on Joan to see how he would overcome this challenge. Let's begin the chapter. The soul chain array? Wu Qingqiu's voice wavered as he stared at the scene before him, his face frozen in disbelief. For once, Zhao Deju isn't exaggerating. The soul chain array requires 10 souls to be linked together, and once that link is broken, death is inevitable. This technique has always been a last resort, but now, just to stop Joan, they're willing to risk their lives? It's almost admirable. Could we have misunderstood them all this time? Yan Mo raised an eyebrow, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Admirable? We'll see about that. Maybe they'll back out halfway like they always do. Wu Qingqiu paused, considering his words, his doubt evident. The soul chain array is formidable. As long as they hold their formation, even Joan's Heaven Dragon soul shouldn't be able to break through. But do you really think they'll see it through? His question hung in the air as he turned toward Ye Lin, who stood silently, his eyes fixed on the rattling chains encircling the battlefield. Ye Lin's expression betrayed none of his thoughts, but his mind churned. Even a Heaven Dragon soul would struggle against the combined force of 10 experts. But Joan, you're no ordinary cultivator. You're an inheritor of a sacred beast. Your Heaven Dragon soul isn't limited to its basic strength. His gaze sharpened, anticipation flickering in his eyes as the chains clanged rhythmically. Joan, standing at the center of it all, surveyed the circle of opponents with a faint smirk. Without hesitation, he shot toward Zhao Deju, his movements faster than the eye could follow. His fist, brimming with unstoppable power, hurtled forward. But suddenly, out of nowhere, a faint chain materialized, snaking around his mighty qilin, arm and locking it in place. Joan frowned, his brow furrowing in surprise. He jerked his arm, attempting to shake off the chain, but more chains emerged, swarming toward him from every direction. Within moments, his limbs were bound. The chains rattled ominously as they lifted him off the ground, leaving him suspended, mid-air. No matter how hard he struggled, the chains held firm. Worse, they seemed to sap his power, rendering him incapable of drawing on his full strength. "Steward Zhuo!" Qi Changlong's voice rang out, filled with alarm. He and the other demon-scheming sect disciples charged forward, attempting to free their leader, but their efforts were in vain. The chains lashed out like living entities, striking them down before they could even get close. The impact sent them sprawling, blood spraying from their mouths as they collapsed under the overwhelming force. This is the power of a superior 3. Sect? Despair filled their hearts. Even combined, they couldn't handle a single opponent from Zhao Deju's group. Zhao Deju sneered, his voice thick with disdain. "You lowly demons from the lower 3 sects are lucky to have climbed your way into the middle ranks. But now you dream of challenging the superior 3 sects? How laughable! Look at yourselves, weaklings, every one of you. If not for Joan, we wouldn't even bother using this array against you." His mocking laughter was echoed by the other disciples of the Universal Righteous Sect, their eyes glinting with derision. Qi Changlong clenched his fists, his teeth, grinding in frustration. They had come so far, representing their sect in the prestigious Double Dragon gathering, only to find themselves completely outclassed. Joan, still bound by the chains, sighed audibly. "Why did you even try to attack? Didn't I tell you to stand back and leave this to me?" His stern tone silenced Qi Changlong and the others. They hung their heads, ashamed, as Joan's words cut through their frustration like a teacher reprimanding his students. "This isn't your fight," Joan continued, his gaze piercing. You've done well to make it this far, but this stage isn't meant for you. For now, stand back and watch. Witness the strength of the strongest disciple in the Western lands. And remember, things will change with time. If you want to claim this stage in the future, then work toward it. There's no point in dwelling on your current weakness. His words struck a chord. The disciples of the demon-scheming sect raised, their heads, a new determination flickering in their eyes. Jofan's voice softened, but his resolve remained firm. You're not weak because of who you are. You're weak because of the resources you lack. But that can change. The day will come when you'll stand here as equals, or surpass them entirely. Until then, don't lose heart. Hope ignited within them. For the first time, they saw their circumstances in a new light. The fiends watching from the sidelines exchanged glances, impressed. Joan truly is a remarkable leader, they thought. He knows when to be strict and when to inspire. No wonder he's brought these disciples so far. Fiend Yang chuckled. Joan is doing the work of a venerable, teaching these young ones so well. He's as capable in leadership as he is in battle. The other fiends nodded in agreement. Even the exalted double dragons and elders from various sects observed him with newfound respect. Jofan's strength was undeniable, but his ability to command and inspire was equally remarkable. Zhao Deju, however, remained unimpressed. You can spout all the motivational nonsense you want, but it won't save you. Our soul chain. Array has locked your spirit. You can't control your body, no matter how strong you are. Your struggle is pointless. Jofan's lips curled into a sly grin. Is that so? Let's see how my soul fares then. A deafening roar shook the heavens as Jofan's heaven dragon soul emerged, its massive form glowing with a prismatic radiance. The sky itself seemed to shimmer as the seven-colored light bathed the battlefield. The dragon's soul thrashed against the chains, its power surging as it sought to break free. Zhao Deju only laughed, unfazed. Ha! Joan, you've walked right into our trap. Locking your spirit was just the beginning. The soul chain array's true purpose is to crush your soul. Let's see how long you last. The 10 disciples of the universal righteous sect moved in unison, their hands forming intricate signs. The chains multiplied, converging on the heaven dragon soul from every angle. In an instant, the massive dragon was ensnared. It struggled fiercely, its roars shaking the heavens, but the chains held firm. Wu Qingqiu watched, his face grave. This doesn't look good. The soul chain array uses the combined power of 10 souls. Even a heaven dragon soul can't hold out for long against that kind of pressure. If Joan can't find a way to counter this soon, his soul will be destroyed. Ye Lin's eyes gleamed with curiosity. That's true for an ordinary heaven dragon soul, but Joan isn't ordinary. If he's managed to evolve his soul, then we might witness something entirely new. That's what intrigues me most. Wu Qingqiu glanced at him, startled. The Yao, heaven dragon's soul, can change? His gaze shifted back to Joan, his heart pounding with anticipation. The battlefield crackled with tension, the fate of the heaven dragon soul and Joan hanging by a thread. The draconic roar rang in everyone's ears, reverberating through the battlefield. The enormous creature, its massive body encased in hundreds of glowing chains, thrashed wildly in fury. Each movement shook the ground, sending tremors that made even the bravest onlookers uneasy. The dragon's defiance, though desperate, seemed futile as the chains tightened, grinding into its majestic form. Nearby, a young woman with an innocent face and frantic energy grabbed another's arm. Sister Qingcheng, what now? What now? His body is trapped, and now his soul too. He looks doomed. Will he really die at the hands of the universal righteous sect? Danner's voice cracked with worry, her cheeks flushed in distress. Other girls stood silently, their concern evident in their furrowed brows. Not everyone shared their sentiment. Shen Xiaoyu sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. Humph, all the opponents he's faced so far were nothing compared to this. He's up against the experts of a superior 3 sect. Even ambushed, these warriors didn't flinch. Besides, a demon like him should have met his end long ago. Danner shot him a glare, but before she could retort, Chu Qingcheng spoke with quiet confidence, ignoring Xuan Xiaoyu's mocking tone. Don't worry, Danner. He's aiming for Yelin of the Ultimate Clarity sect. Until then, he won't lose. Her steady gaze remained fixed on the battlefield. There was no panic, no excitement, just an unshakable trust that seemed to soothe the others. Their tense expressions relaxed, though Xuan Xiaoyu clenched his fists in frustration, his pride stung by her unwavering faith in someone else. Why does she only look at him and never at me? Another deafening roar from the dragon pulled everyone's attention. The creature's struggles grew weaker as exhaustion set in. The prismatic glow of its body dimmed, and the chains twisted tighter, constricting its movements further. The once majestic beast seemed to bow under the weight of its bindings. On the other side of the battlefield, Zhao Deju's face lit up with triumph. Ha 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 ha! That dragon soul is finished. Brothers, it's time to strike. Tear that dragon to pieces and kill him! A chorus of eager shouts followed his command. The disciples of the Universal Righteous Sect began forming intricate hand signs. The chains surrounding the dragon pulsed with energy, grinding deeper into its shimmering scales. With a sickening crunch, one of the pristine scales fell, disintegrating into nothingness. The dragon's roar of agony echoed across the field, shaking the very heavens. Zhuo Fan, bound and motionless, felt the pain coursing through him as if it were his own. His brow twitched slightly, the only sign of his struggle. Zhao Deju's laughter grew louder, filled with arrogance. Ha! The brat has no tricks left. Break him, boys. Break this dragon apart and make history. The Western lands will sing of our glory for generations. The disciples redoubled their efforts, their chants growing louder as more chains dug into the dragon's flesh. Scales fell one after another, vanishing into the void. Zhuo Fan's expression remained stoic, his brow furrowing slightly as the pain intensified. One disciple pointed mockingly. "Senior brother, look, he's done for. It's clear our soul chain array has him completely trapped. That dragon soul isn't so mighty after all." Zhao Deju puffed out his chest, basking in their praise. "Didn't I tell you? I, Zhao Deju, grasp victory wherever I go. Ha ha ha! Right. Senior brother's name truly fits, grasping victory every time, ha ha ha." Another disciple chimed in, eager to curry favor. The Universal Righteous Sect's team had initially approached cautiously, testing Zhuo Fan's defenses. But now, convinced of their advantage, they attacked with full force. Thousands of chains extended toward the dragon, pulling and grinding with relentless fervor. Their goal was clear: destroy the dragon's soul and claim an unparalleled victory. Not far away, Yanmo watched with a furrowed brow. "I never thought someone like Zhuo Fan would end up like this. The heaven dragon's soul, bound and helpless. Could this really be the end for the demon-scheming sect?" Ye Lin's sharp eyes remained fixed on Zhuo Fan. "Don't be so sure," he said, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. "The form of a soul reflects its wielder's essence. Sword souls, dragon souls, all of them are shaped by the individual's truth. Until now, his heaven dragon soul has shown only its basic form, devoid of any defining characteristics. Has he really failed to comprehend anything? If so, that's disappointing." His words trailed off as his eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, I knew it. His dragon soul isn't just this." Yanmo turned quickly, following Ye Lin's gaze. "What's happening?" he asked, his voice tinged with alarm. "The heaven dragon's soul. It's changing." Ye Lin's smirk widened into a grin. "Now this is interesting. Let's see how. It differs from my golden heaven dragon king. Ha ha ha, I can't wait." A sudden hum filled the air, a deep resonance that made the chains vibrate. The disciples of the universal righteous sect froze, their confidence faltering as the chains seemed to lose their grip. The dragon's massive body remained still, but its form began to shift. A sinister scarlet glow emerged, radiating a menacing aura that sent chills down their spines. Zhao Deju's face twisted in confusion. "What's going on?" The disciples exchanged nervous glances. The chains, which had been tearing into the dragon's scales moments ago, now seemed ineffective. The energy binding the dragon was dissipating, as though being consumed by the scarlet light. Joan's voice cut through the chaos, calm yet mocking. "A bunch of children, that's all you are. You finally decided to go all out? Ha ha ha. Then it's only fair that I respond in kind. Let me show you what it means to run but not hide!" His eyes gleamed with resolve as he roared, "Dragon Soul Variation! Kill in form! Almighty Scarlet Dragon King!" The battlefield erupted in an explosion of energy. The chains binding the dragon rattled violently, unable to withstand the surge of power. Cracks appeared in the array itself, the intricate formation buckling under the strain. Zhao Deju and his team stared in shock, their confidence shattered. The dragon, now bathed in scarlet light, had transformed. Its fangs grew sharper, its scales reformed into an impenetrable armor, and its aura became overwhelmingly ferocious. This was no ordinary heaven dragon soul, it was something far more terrifying. The dragon's roar shook the heavens, its power magnified tenfold. The disciples of the universal righteous sect faltered, their faces pale with fear. Yilin watched with admiration and anticipation. "So, this is the almighty Scarlet Dragon King. By combining the sacred beast Keelan's power with a heaven dragon soul, he's created a unique variant. It's not quite on par with my golden heaven dragon king, but it's impressive nonetheless. Joan, you truly are my destined rival." While Yilin's excitement grew, Zhao Deju's despair deepened. The chains, once unbreakable, began to shatter one by one under the dragon's might. The disciples coughed up blood as the backlash from the array's collapse hit them. "You were saying?" Joan's voice dripped with sarcasm as he raised an eyebrow, his trademark wicked grin spreading across his face. His mocking gaze bore into Zhao Deju, whose bravado had crumbled entirely. The scarlet dragon loomed over the battlefield, its presence an undeniable declaration of dominance. The tables had turned, and the true battle was about to begin.